great timing as we talk about this year's Lake of the Ozarks Shootout. So many nonprofits and charities gain from this, and another record breaker, Chris.
Yeah, how about that? So 675,000 raised by the Shootout last year. So, I mean, they just continue to break records year after year. This thing has grown so much. So over the past 5 years, the margin of growth between 2019, when they raised 357,000, to this year's amount, that is an overall increase of nearly 50% just since 2019. And again, the total for last year's Shootout, or I should say this year's Shootout, I guess this summer, $675,000, and that money goes to Lake Area charities, police and fire, and many other charities from the people that chip in and help out. Just absolutely fantastic from the Shootout team again.
Yeah, and Thursday night they had their check presentation at Performance Boat Center, the long-running title sponsor of the Shootout. Big shout out to Mark and to Brett Manier and the Performance guys. I mean, they are such an integral role in this event. And they had the check presentation. Lake TV's Robbie Brewer was there. You get some sights from that event and get just an idea of how massive the turnout was, because this is big. Big shout out to Executive Director Leah Martin, of course, Ron Dugan. It's been his vision. They continue to grow this, and they've made some great hires. I mean, Christy Wagner, new addition to the Shootout, is kind of the creative mind that's going to handle a lot of the social media, the writing. They're already putting out newsletters, and I know the addition of former Lake TV staff member Ricky Smith has been big for them. So Shootout continues to grow. We're looking really forward to what 2024 has in store. And I saw some of those pictures. There was a lot of organizations that got their largest check ever, and they keep adding, right? So It used to be like 20 organizations and fire departments, and so you think the amount goes way up, so does the checks to each organization. They keep adding organizations, yet those amounts keep going up. And I will tell you, if you don't understand, a lot of these nonprofits and fire departments, they rely on this check every year to get through their fiscal year, because if it's not for Lake of the Ozarks Shootout, they're making cuts, or they may not even be there.
Well, and I remember back in 2020 when we were going through the COVID shutdown, everything else was shut down, and the Shootout decided to go on as usual that year in 2020. And one of the main reasons they did that was because a lot of charities do rely on that money every year, or they go under. They'll be done. They'll be dead. And so there is so much on the line for this. So it's not just a fun event, but the charities really need this, and they send people to volunteer to help out, and that's how they, decide how much money they get back for the charities and stuff. So it's just a great relationship.
That year in 2020, when Ron had first asked a bunch of people who were so involved at that point whether or not they move forward, it was 70-plus-year-old Margie Frazier, who's in the Hall of Fame, the volunteer, who said, "We are having this, and if I'm getting out there and I'm volunteering and working these and being around people, you can too. We cannot afford not to have this event." And it went off incredibly. And so she was an integral role in that. Big shout out to Margie and Ron Frazier. We love you guys.